What's up, everybody? It's officially the best time of the year. March Madness is about to start, but also college baseball is ramping up, and we are in the first weekend of SEC conference play, the best time of the year, in my opinion. And there's nothing short of absolute chaos, and it's going to be an absolute insane, meaningful weekend here in only week one of conference play. So many fun matchups, so much to break down, and that's exactly what we're going to do here on this video. After 4 weeks of non-conference games, the best conference in college baseball is officially set to get started here this weekend. And once SEC play begins, the entire national picture in college baseball starts to take shape. As we all know, the SEC has absolutely dominated college baseball recently, but this year it feels like it's taken a little bit of a drop here in the opening weeks of non-conference play. Is that just starting slow? Or could we see maybe a little decline in the SEC this year? That being said, it's still college baseball's best. As we all know, the SEC has produced multiple recent national championships. I believe the number is 6. Barring that Arkansas foul ball drop, they would be 8. Consistently sends double-digit teams to the NCAA tournament, and once again in 2026, the league is loaded with MLB prospects, preseason top 25 teams right now, and Omaha contenders. You get the gist. I just had to break it down a little bit for you. In this video, we're going to break down every SEC opening weekend series, talk about key players and pitching matchups, and what this means for the bigger storylines shaping up in SEC baseball as we enter conference play. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Random SEC. If you aren't subscribed, please consider doing so. You can unsubscribe whenever you want if you don't like my content, but please consider doing so and like and comment as well. It would really help me out a lot, and we're doing great on all social medias, but YouTube, we really need your help. Back to the video. So before I get started, I'm just going to kind of break this down and what I think is the best way for me. It's not going to be with when the game started or anything like that. Just kind of go by the biggest storylines in their series and what that means and all that. So without further ado, let's get into it. LSU, the defending national champions. Now, they really have all the pieces right to go back to back. We all know that, but it hasn't been smooth sledding for LSU, to be completely honest with you. LSU baseball, the 13-5, right? It's not your ideal scenario. They've lost to a lot of mid-majors, a lot of not so great teams. And here's why I tell you that you shouldn't really worry. Yes, do I think LSU dropped off from last year? Obviously, it's really hard to sustain success year to year. Do I think LSU season is over? Absolutely not. And it's college baseball. People are always going to overreact, but one loss means the absolute least out of any college sport in baseball. So even if you do lose to Northeastern State, whoever they're losing to, there's still plenty of hope for the season. And there's a couple of teams in the SEC that have kind of had this problem, right? They've lost to these teams that they shouldn't have lost to, and it's okay if you do it once or twice, but teams like LSU and even Arkansas and even Vanderbilt, they've done it on multiple occasions. So the question is, heading into conference play, can you kind of find yourself once again and start a new season? You know, you're 0-0, you're 0-0, and get back to the expectations that you hold, because on all those programs and many more in the SEC, national championships are expected. Obviously, LSU coming off a national championship, and that does sometimes make it hard when you come up with all that pressure. People are expecting great things from you. It makes it a little hard, but I also think LSU's bats are extremely cold, and we came into this season saying how hot and how good LSU's batting lineup should be this year. You know, basically two rosters deep of absolutely insane hitters, and I'm talking about Monster Mylon, Big Zaddy, and you know, we have all the nicknames here for LSU, but we've seen sparks where we've had elite hitters, but consistency is key. And for LSU, you're heading into a series now with the Vanderbilt Commodores, another team who has really just been struggling, to say the least. Probably, honestly, the worst team in the SEC, and that's not what anybody expected. You know, Tim Corbin, year in and year out, has a great squad in Vanderbilt. They hosted a regional last year. They won the SEC tournament last year. Things went downhill as the actual postseason began. But Vanderbilt's always a team that's kind of up there in the SEC, and it has not been the case this year. They were 11-7, have had some embarrassing losses, and the starting tournament that it's called the Shriners College Baseball Showdown, and a lot of great college baseball teams play in it, and it's kind of just to feel where your team's at. And Vanderbilt got absolutely swept in that and destroyed, and it did not look good at all. And since then, they really haven't done anything to reprove their confidence. And now that I got that out of the way, because I feel like that was kind of the big storyline, right? LSU, their struggles. Let's go to the biggest series of the weekend. It's a top 5 matchup. It's Arkansas and Mississippi State. Coming into the season, Mississippi State was a lot of people's national championship pick under new head coach Brian O'Connor. They are elite, and they've shown it. They've gone 15-2, and their 2 losses have been extremely, extremely close against very, very good teams, UCLA and Southern Miss. So Mississippi State is a very, very good team, right? And Arkansas, we've yet to see it. They're ranked number 5. People have obviously they're a little more trust in Arkansas, so they're going to keep them up in the rankings, even though they are currently 12-5. Arkansas consistently a great team. This is going to be in Baum Walker in Fayetteville, so it's at Arkansas's home, and it's just a fantastic way to start off SEC play. Like, let me be honest, this is one of the best, if not the best series all year, and it's week 1. For Arkansas, I think the strategy and just what we're trying to see is, can you compete? Can you be an elite team? Because let's be honest, they've also dropped some games that they shouldn't have. They've lost 2 to Stetson. They've lost to Arkansas State. They've lost to UT Arlington. It has not been pretty. It has not been smooth sledding for Arkansas. That being said, they're still 12-5 and have some key wins early in the season. But there is definitely things you would want to see as far as pitching goes and as far as hitting goes for sure. Nate Thompson, the Arkansas hitting coach, has had his fair share of skepticism in the past, and this year is bringing that once again. Arkansas's bats just have not gotten hot yet. We're hoping it's like, a 2023 year. It was 2023 or 2024 where Arkansas's bats really just were slow at the beginning of the year, and they finally found their way. But guys like Kuhio Lloyd, guys that you expected to have big leaps, just haven't had it going yet. And kind of the same thing with LSU, with Milan and others, that they just haven't got it going yet. But I fully expect eventually to have that going. Can you do it against Mississippi State, though? Because Mississippi State has came into this year absolutely guns blazing. They wasted no time proving expectations. Obviously, there's a lot to go, but Mississippi State, in my opinion, right now is the most complete team. And yeah, they lost to UCLA, but that was a great game. We went to extra innings, controversial calls there. Mississippi State's a really, really good team. Can they keep it up? We'll see. But they're definitely a top 3 team in the country. Texas and UCLA are, I think, the only teams that have a say in that. And to be honest, looking at Arkansas's schedule, this is probably the biggest series because for some reason the SEC scheduling, it's just there's so many teams now. You don't get everybody, and this is probably Arkansas's one of their biggest series. But it's in Fayetteville. Arkansas is always a lead at Baum Walker Stadium. It typically has one of the best pitching staffs in the country under Matt Hobbs. Mississippi State brings one of the most exciting hitters in the SEC, Ace Reese, and many others. If the guys like that get hot in the series, and Arkansas's pitching, like it kind of has been, inconsistent, the starters especially, if they don't get hot, then you could see definitely a one-sided affair for Mississippi State. But I do think this is going to be a great series. I think it's going to take 3 games for either team. And I'm not going to make a pick necessarily, but Mississippi State definitely has more power in the bats, and that's going to be something that Arkansas has to pay attention to, has to get under their wing. And it's really, really just a kind of a where are you at for both teams, because monster series, neither have been in a series like this yet. So we'll see. Tennessee, Georgia. So this is another huge, huge, huge series, and it's in Athens, Georgia. Let's start with the Bulldogs, right? Under Wes Miller, I think it's his 3rd or 4th year. He's done fantastic things at Georgia. But they really haven't played anybody yet. They're 15-3. They're number 8 in the country. I think a lot of people are really high on them. I'm really high on them. Zach Brown going to get the starting pitch on Friday. It's going to be a very fun series, in my opinion. It's 2 teams with a lot of things to prove. Like I said, Georgia really hasn't played too many great teams, not too many teams with the pulse, and that's just scheduling. You can't do anything about that. They've beaten up on opponents. And then with Tennessee, under first-year head coach Josh Elander, are you legit still without Tony Vitello? That is the question. Are you legit still? I think this is still a good Tennessee team. I think this is going to be a great series, number 8 versus number 19, 13-4 Tennessee. But this is definitely a kind of statement type of series win if Josh Elander can get it. And for Georgia, as far as the season goes, this is exactly how you want to start out the year, with a win like this, for the Dogs. But I think that the question is, and it's really been the question all year, and it's really been the question for Georgia and the Wes Miller era, is how good can you be against good competition? Now, I don't know how good Tennessee truly is. I think they're a good team. But you're at home, and it's going to be rocking. What can you do? Big series, though. Big series. Top 25 series at Foley Field in Athens, Georgia. And quick break. If you haven't already, this app, Diamond Baseball Stats, it's got everything you need. It's not fully released yet, but you can join the waitlist. I'll put the link in the description below. It's absolutely elite, and they're not even paying me to say this. I just absolutely love this app. If you're on ESPN, if you love college baseball, the coverage absolutely sucks. They don't even have team score rights, but this has the works. I mean, it's like any other app for any other sport. It has all the stats, everything, and more, and it's really just the best sporting app I've ever been a part of. If you want early access, join the waitlist now. With link in the description below. Taking a little bit of a different turn here, and I'm going to number 6 Auburn against Missouri. Now, Missouri, as many of you know, a lot of people, I'm just going to say it, don't really pay attention to SEC baseball until conference play starts or even later sometimes. So just a little refresher here. Most people will say Missouri, oh, they suck. Last year they barely won a game. They didn't win a series in the SEC. And to that, I'd tell you, you're wrong. This year they have actually shown a lot of promise. They're 15-2. Auburn is 14-2, but for Missouri, they haven't really played too many great teams yet, if any at all. So could it be fool's gold? I don't know, but it's definitely better than where they were last year in this position. So Missouri's kind of a team that you got to look at and say, they could be something this year. Maybe they could be something. It's at Taylor Stadium. It's at home. It's at Missouri. So Auburn, you can't just kind of sleep this one under the rug and expect to roll the ball out there and win. But Auburn is a very elite team, a team that I said from the beginning of this year, you have a chance to do really, really, really good things. Maybe find your way to Omaha. Maybe find your way to a national championship. Like, this is a very good Auburn team, in my opinion. Jake Marciano is going to be taking the mound for Auburn. He's been very impressive this year. Like to see him against some actual, SEC competition. But I do think this is going to be a very, very decent matchup. I really hope Missouri can give Auburn a run for their money because, the more teams in the SEC that are actually competing in baseball and actually doing good things, that's all the better. We want this conference to be at the top of it could be, and really Missouri's kind of been left out in that conversation. So it would be really, really good to see them do their thing and actually get going. But as far as this series go, I think most people are going to be picking Auburn, right? This one might fly under the radar nationally, but it could be huge in standings wise and later in the year, especially standings wise. Texas A&M and Oklahoma. So this is once again another huge ranked matchup in the SEC. You really expect nothing less, though, to be honest with you. And A&M, second year under Mike Early. What can we expect? I think this A&M team is very, very dangerous. Obviously, last year didn't go as expected, as planned. But Michael Early, he was put in a tough position. I do think that this A&M team can be different, but it's going to be a huge, huge matchup opening weekend in the SEC to really, really solidify yourself as kind of back. I don't want to say that because it's such a long season, but a huge opportunity for Texas A&M and a huge opportunity for OU, guys. Look, OU is number 9 ranked. This is going to be in Norman, Oklahoma, Kimberly Family Stadium, I believe. OU is a team that at the beginning of the year, at the Shriners College Baseball Showdown, they showed up and they dominated against really, really good opponents. And that was like a warning sign to everybody, like, OU's legit this year. OU's legit this year. They've been good, but this is the year they step up. 14-2. You have a chance to prove that narrative going into SEC play. Are you the team that people say you are? Or are you still flying under the radar a little bit? I don't know. You're facing a very good Texas A&M team, but you're at home, and I truly do think that this is probably, as far as closeness goes, the best series this weekend. I just think these two teams are very evenly matched. Shane Sadao will be getting the start for Texas A&M, and Cam Johnson will be getting start for OU. Cam Johnson has been one of the most impressive pitchers this year in the SEC. Can he continue his abilities as we go into conference play? I think so. He is a very, very good player. Another new era SEC matchup. It will always kind of feel weird when OU or Texas plays, especially in baseball for some reason for me. So this is kind of the last, I don't know what to call, blockbuster matchup. Ole Miss not ranked, but they very well could be, guys. It's a 15-3 Ole Miss team under head coach Mike Bianco. So it's a very good Ole Miss team. They got Hunter Elliott on the mound. He's been a little slow starting this year, but I still think he's one of the most elite arms in the SEC. Ruger Riojas for Texas as well. He's been very good, 1.23 ERA this year. And these two teams, Texas, I think, is right now the best team in the in college baseball. And I may have said that earlier about Mississippi State. That was a misspeak. I do think Mississippi State's very good, but I do think Texas, at least right now, is playing like the best team in the SEC in all college baseball. So complete, 16-0. The last time they've done that was 2005, and we all know what happened that year. So Texas is a very, very, very dangerous team. They got a lot of weapons under year two. Just lost an Eagle. So this is a very good Texas team. But, I said it coming into this year that Ole Miss is going to go fly under the radar, but they're a really underrated team in the SEC this year. They got a lot of returning production from last year. Last year was a decent team, but I do think that Ole Miss, in a kind of a make or break year, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say make or break year, but a very pivotal point of the season and a very pivotal year, I feel like, for Mike Bianco. Can you prove that you are back at the main stage, at the center stage? And you have a very good opportunity here. It's in Dish Fall Field. It's going to be very hard to win. But can I just see you grab a game, Ole Miss? Because just I don't expect you to win with the way Texas has been playing, but you never know. Can you grab a game? Can you keep Texas's bat cold? And can you warm your bats up? So they showed a lot of good things this week, earlier in the week when they played Southern Miss, and they almost came out with that one. I believe the final score was 2-1, but a very good Southern Miss team. So there is definitely some bright spots for Ole Miss. The question is, can it be consistent? And can you just light it up and take it up a notch higher as you go into SEC play? And for Texas, you mean just keep doing your thing. But we all saw what happened last year. They kind of started like this, and then by the postseason, things went downhill. Obviously, I don't expect that to happen. And there's so much to happen between now and then. But just kind of starting out SEC play hot will bode huge for both teams. 2 more games to go through. And let's start with Alabama and Kentucky, another game flying under the radar. And when I said that we had a major series and that this is honestly one of the best weekends of SEC baseball and it's only week 1, I was not lying to you guys. Alabama and Kentucky, number 21 Kentucky, by the way. And Alabama could very much well be ranked 2, 15-3 under Rob Vaughn. It's going to be a fun series. I mean, we got great pitchers. Connor Finley, Tyler Fay, and I may say one of those names wrong. I don't know. But great pitchers, decent hitting. Both 2 coaches that are young relatively in the SEC picture and trying to prove themselves, trying to get to that next level. And Kentucky, a very much sleeper pick, 15-2 this year, kind of flying under the radar. But they can very much prove it to themselves, kind of like a lot of these teams, week 1 in the SEC, just trying to prove yourself. And Alabama's a good team, guys. It's at Kentucky Proud Park, so it's in Lexington, but it's not going to be easy for either team because these are both 2 teams flying under the radar. When Alabama, when you got a guy like Justin LeBron, one of the best players, if not the best player in the SEC, things can fall your way. Now, obviously, it's baseball. You need more than one guy, and I think Alabama has that. I think they're a very dangerous team. They got a lot of pieces, but so does Kentucky. This is a very, very under-the-radar matchup, and I almost kind of forgot it was happening, and I didn't prepare well for it, but it is going to be a very, very fun matchup, in my opinion. And last, but certainly not least, although maybe least, I don't know, South Carolina and number 23, Florida. South Carolina, look, last year, very disappointing under your pulmonary. And it's kind of the same thing this year, 12-6. You've lost some really bad games. Navy or Army, I don't know. You lost to Clemson. It's not been the year anyone's expected, and fans are already kind of boycotting, kind of not even showing up to games. So can you turn that whole narrative around, come into SEC play, guns blazing? I really find it hard to believe. But South Carolina, they're itching for something. They're just itching for something. And Florida is a team, number 23 ranked. A lot of people were really high on Florida this year. And it's not gone totally according to plan, but there's still plenty of opportunity, right? It's earlier in the season. Kevin O'Sullivan, I trust him as a coach. But look, guys, as far as this series goes, for Florida, I think what the fans were looking for is a sweep, or at least just a semi-dominant win. And for South Carolina, I think people are just looking for hope, man. And whether that's winning one game or whether that's putting up a fight, I don't know. But just the way they've looked this year has not been pretty at all. And 12-6, and it's really kind of unanimous that you're the worst team in the SEC. So are you going to use that to fuel yourself or what? Like, just prove something. Prove something to me. Prove something to all of us. South Carolina is struggling. What can you do? And Florida, Liam Peterson. I kind of want to see him get going more. A guy that many people had as their best pitcher in the year, preseason, SEC, all that. Very good pitcher. Like, we know what he can do, but can we see it at a more consistent basis and just overall, like, take it up a notch heading into SEC play? I think that's really all that we can really hope for Florida, and hope that you can come out with a win here, opening at Florida. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on all social medias. We are doing great on all social medias, but we're still trying to up this YouTube thing. So subscribe would really, really be the best way you could help me. I've gotten no money from this. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great SEC opening weekend. March Madness, not March Madness, SEC Conference Tournament weekend, and March Madness Selection Sunday. So it's a jam-packed week, and it's all for you, it's all for us, and we're gonna have so much fun. Thank you. See ya.